I know how it feel to wake up, fucked up. Pockets broke as hell, another rock to sell.
Show you how to stunt, show you how to stunt, show you how to stunt, show you niggas how to stunt, on them show you how to stunt, show you how to stunt.
What you didn't believe us?
Got slave with money, can't choose which one. Might go chip, some can't choose which gun. Don't do no good, go when night come. No, you can't be my girl, hit charge you done. Never gave a fuck about where they from. Chopper in the trunk with 100 in the trunk. Mama nigga up, and I'm headed to Milan. Gotta catch a flight, you can't just get your bum. Run it up, run it up. Know them niggas not with us. Got freckles, I got cookies, selling bitches come with us. Got the house in the hilly lean like a double cup.
But they don't know about the stress-filled day. Baby on the way, mad bills to pay. That's why you drink Tanqueray, so you can reminisce and wish you wasn't living so devilish. Shit. I remember I was just like you, smoking blunts with my crew, flipping over 62s. Cause GED wasn't B.I.G. I had to get P.A.D. That's why my moms hate me. She was forced to kick me out, no doubt. Then I figured out Knicks went for 20 down south. Packed up my tools for my raw power move. Glock 19 for caskets, flower moves.
They will never give a fuck. The blower in the blood, PV serving tears like a motherfucking cluck. If you right and buckle up, niggas dying if you touch big G's, big C's. If you couldn't throw it up, niggas marked out.
Man.
Welcome to Make a Mixtape. I'm Zach Little. I'm here with my brother Morgan, and we are going to do a special episode today. This is the first of something that we're going to do like probably twice or more times a year, but it's a milestone mixtape.
Yes.
So this is going to be a mixtape about the year 2003, because a bunch of those albums obviously are turning 20 years old. All of them, in fact. Every album that came out in 2003 is turning 20 this year. So we're making a mixtape of the year 2003. So, Morgan, I'm curious, like, what was your sort of thought process before we get into the picks? What was your thought process behind picking 10 songs?
Okay, so the way that I broke it down was some are selected based upon what they represent in the time period.
Yep, okay.
Which you'll know more of what I mean when we get to them. And some of them were also chosen as like, this is a all-time classic, so it has to be there. And then there's a lot of, what you'd expect from the Little Bros, the alt scene that was happening at this time.
Sure.
Because those are our favorite songs, and those are, what we talk about. So I tried to go like full scope of 2003, what was taking place.
That makes sense.
What about you?
Well, so I had a hard time because there were certain stuff that I really like a lot now, that I listen to a lot now, that I really had absolutely no sense of or no inkling of in 2003. And I know that the assignment is not necessarily what were the songs you were listening to in 2003, but for the sake of sort of not talking about stuff that I talk about all the time, I almost tried to stay more in that mindset. Almost more in the mindset of what was 2003 Zach really crazy about, and what among those things still endures. So when I listen to those songs 20 years later, do I still like it or do I not? And so
yes.
that was kind of part of the methodology.
For the listener, Zach and I have not shared our lists with each other.
That's true. Normally, if we make a mixtape, I'm aware of the songs that the person who I'm talking to has picked. But in this case, I thought it'd be fun for us to surprise each other.
Yeah, well, and I'm actually very worried that I missed something, that you're going to be like, that you're going to be like this, and I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that's not on my list.
We're only picking 20 songs, so it's going to be hard to paint a full portrait of 2003 between the two of us, and there might be some overlap in our picks. But, honestly, one thing I was thinking about was this was a great year to start with, because the next few are going to be much harder. When I look at 2003 culturally, it kind of feels like the end of one era and the beginning of another.
I agree.
Like Saddle Creek is kind of in its ascendancy, both for us and for the world. But there's still a lot of like Linkin Park, Drowning Pool, kind of like 2000s. There's a Limp Bizkit album that came out in 2003,
Which is hilarious, yeah.
And when I look at like the movies that came out that year, I was kind of trying to make a list, of that just like culturally. Lost in Translation comes out in 2003. That's a huge one. But I had also thought like Eternal Sunshine came out in 2003, but it didn't. That's an '04 movie.
There was a lot for me of, oh, that didn't come out in 2003.
I mean, honestly, I was looking at the list of movies last night, and I was like, I mean, City of God is a great movie that came out in 2003 that I probably saw around then. But the rest of them, you know, like, took me a while to catch back up with, like, Gus Van Sant's Elephant. And, like, I mean, Matchstick Men came out in 2003. Remember that one? Nicolas Cage?
I do remember that one.
Yeah. I remember it not being bad.
So, I will kick us off.
Go for it.
Number 10, 2 + 2 = 5 by Radiohead.
Oh, yeah. Hail to the Thief, baby.
Yes. One of my main reasons for choosing this was because Radiohead was kind of one of these bands, right, of that era that represent like that kind of, it was sort of alt, you know, it was sort of indie, but like they were very popular. And also that the huge end of this song where they say "Hail to the Thief," it's literally like that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio sitting on the couch in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where he's pointing at the screen. Like, that's me. That's me, where it's like, he said the title of the album. Like,
yeah, right there on the first song. You know that, I think I've said this before, you know that sound at the very beginning is Johnny Greenwood plugging his guitar on the very first day of recording?
I don't think I did know that, and that's awesome. That's great. It's a great song on a great album by a great band that, you know, are not, like, Radiohead's not one of my top 10 bands.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so specific in their sound. No one sounds like Tom York.
Correct.
Tom York is one of those vocalists that you're just like, no, like, what is this guy? You know?
And, you know, this is one of the few, there's not a lot of Radiohead songs that kick ass.
Yes, that's
this
true.
This is a Radiohead song that kicks ass. And I actually think that sometimes, I appreciate Tom York's voice more in these kind of songs than I do in the kind of slower wailing numbers.
I agree.
Not that there's anything wrong with slow wailing numbers. But, you know, if I'm putting together a mixtape, I am pulling the Radiohead bangers, of which there are, by my count, only like 10 or 12 in the whole catalog. There's only 10 or 12 like true bangers. There's some grooves. A groove is different than a banger.
Right. Yeah,
all right.
And this is a banger.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my number 10 pick. It's a little song called "Oh What a World" by Rufus Wainwright.
Oh.
So Rufus Wainwright is somebody who I think has kind of slipped out of my attention because he definitely started to kind of cater to a different market. He pretty quickly went from being like this kind of fun indie rock character to being like an NPR set kind of performer to becoming like a guy who's got a show on Broadway that you go see where he like performs the songs of Bette Midler, you know? Like that's been the Rufus Wainwright trajectory, and that's cool. He is now kind of like finding his way back. He's got that album of folk covers with like Andrew Bird and people like that. That's really cool.
Yep.
But for the most part,
he has the song with Carly Rae Jepsen too.
Oh, I don't think I know that one.
Oh man, I really hope I'm right that it's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Well, he left my orbit, and this album, Want One, was kind of the beginning of him leaving my orbit. Like, I did go out and buy Want Two when that came out a few years later, but I couldn't tell you a song on it. You know, like I don't think I ever got into it. Want 2 is very
different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you probably should have called that something else because they're completely different sounds.
Mm-hmm. But
Want One is a straight up fire album, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of great songs on it, and Oh What a World is the kickoff track, and it's just really fun. Like, it starts out with kind of this horn section, and the opening line is men reading fashion magazines. Oh, what a world it seems we live in. Which, by the way, coming from someone less gay than Rufus Wainwright, would come across as like a very Fox Newsy kind of dismissive line, but it does not read that way when it's Rufus Wainwright.
Right. Yes, that's absolutely true.
All right, give me your number 9.
My number 9 is The Way You Move by Outkast.
I figured Outkast would appear somewhere.
So this is the last proper album out of Outkast. They did end up doing some things together, and there's been, they've reunited for some shows as of the past couple of years. But I love the aspect of announcing your end and creating so Speakerbox The Love Below is their last proper album, and they told everyone this is it. And it is split between, I think the original release was 2 discs.
It was.
It was, right? Yeah. So and it's basically, you have a Andre 3000 album and you have a Big Boy album, but they created it together. And there's just something awesome about that, where it's like, this feels very much like a celebration. And not to mention how influential Outkast was on the scene. Basically, if someone said name Atlanta rappers, you'd probably start with Outkast. But that is a very influential scene in its own right. So it was mostly chosen. I mean, it's a great song that could play at any time. It's kind of one of those timeless songs. But it's also what it represents, which is that, it's like, this is Outkast signing off, Yeah. And I love that. I think it's so great. That's basically it.
I did evaluate Hey Ya for potential inclusion on this list. My favorite bit of trivia about that is that the chord progression in Hey Ya, those were like literally the only chords that Andre 3000 knew how to play on guitar so far. He was teaching himself. And
That's
so
awesome.
He taught himself a few chords, and he was like, that's enough. And then he recorded every single instrument on the song Hey Ya. And gotta be one of the biggest hits ever written by someone who had just started to learn how to play the guitar, and is really a kind of guitar-driven song, which is kind of insane for a famous Atlanta rapper. But, that's the cut of Andre 3000's jib.
Hey Ya, for the people that were not, alive enough to know what a absolute smash that was, it was literally everywhere for years. It was the biggest song probably of that year and following years. Like, it was around for so long.
The kind of like monstrous hit we don't really have anymore, where like, I'm trying to think of a few others, like Crazy, the Gnarls Barkley song,
right,
and Crazy in Love, the Beyonce one. Songs that are like inescapable. I can't really remember the last time that happened. There's a mini version of it happens every time there's a Taylor Swift single, where like if you turn on the radio, you're gonna hear Lavender Haze, but for like 2 weeks. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the way like Hey Ya was. It was like 4 years.
Yeah, well, and there's so many music releases these days, and there's so many popular artists that it just it's like the 24-hour news cycle, where it just, there's too much to remember.
All right, well, my number 9 song is another opening track of an album. It's I Don't Blame You by Cat Power. And this is one of my favorite Cat Power songs. It's a very simple, just piano-driven song. It has a great chorus, and it has always sounded so cinematic to me. It's kind of this retrospective look at a relationship with someone who was another musician. And every time I hear it, it's like I just picture so much. I think the opening lyrics are, "The first time I saw you, you were on stage," and anyway, it's a beautiful opening song, and I think it really gets to what is powerful about Cat Power. She can do these great, beautiful, kind of like lush orchestrations like she does on a later album, The Greatest. But this is just piano and voice and like a hook, and it's really great. It's a great song.
Where are we at? Number 8, right?
Number 8.
Anywhere with You saves the day.
Nice. Yeah. So Saves the Day, this album In Reverie, a 2003 landmark. One that I think, an album that it took a couple of years to grow on me, actually.
Yeah. I also think it's the last Saves the Day album that matters, right?
That's true. There were definitely more, but I no longer listened to them after that.
Yes. This was the last one that we bought for sure in the physical release.
There are some bands like that where you kind of, you're on for like 3 albums and then you're off, and that's okay. Like, that's life.
Saves the Day is one of those bands that feels very early 2000s.
Yep.
That sound, but like his voice is very different, and the type of songs that they were writing were very different. So they are standout to me of the time. One of my favorite bands from the time for sure. But boy, does this song still rip.
Yeah, this is a great song. Right from that opening guitar part, and then the drums come in really hard. You're like, oh yeah, this is great.
Absolutely.
It's a very driving song. We talked earlier about how 2003 was kind of this year where a lot of stuff was ending and new stuff was beginning. And it's interesting because, like, I didn't put any Saves the Day on my list, and I didn't put any Dashboard Confessional on my list. I was listening to Dashboard Confessional a lot. This is the year that A Mark, a Mission, and Brand of Scar came out. But when I looked through that list of songs, I was like, yeah, none of these have persisted for me.
I actually, to be honest with you, The Places You Have Come to Fear the Most was probably one of our most played CDs in the early 2000s.
And still like a front to back banger fire album.
See, listening back to it, the last time I listened back to it, I was like, this is awful.
Oh, really?
Like, unlistenable for me. And I think it also had like a weird, I had a very emotional tie to that album for a very long time. And then it just disappeared from my memory. I could still probably sing every single song word for word.
Yeah.
But like, it's just buried down so deep that, I don't know. It was weird to hear it.
Another CD that I still have in my car is the Summer's Kiss EP, which is a bunch of songs from the album from before The Places You've Come to Fear the Most, recorded in The Places You've Come to Fear the Most style, with like that really, really fast and lively acoustic band. It's great. But yeah, Dashboard Confessional, one thing I love about Dashboard Confessional is that my guy is still out there. Like, he is still out touring. His son plays drums in his band now. He often hangs out with Maria Taylor. And
Piebald.
Spiritual friend of the pod. Yeah, you're right. And Piebald. He took Piebald on tour. I feel like, what was the story there? I feel like Piebald, or I think it was somebody from Piebald or Dashboard Confessional got super, super sick. I think it was Dashboard Confessional. Yeah. Chris Carrabba got super sick, and it was right at the beginning of COVID.
Yes.
He was like patient zero.
I think you have talked on the podcast about thinking that he got COVID.
Yeah,
I
think I have. I have laid out the theory that Chris Carrabba brought COVID to the United States.
As far as conspiracy theories that show up on Make a Mixtape, that one's pretty tame.
It's more plausible than all of Jon Stewart's COVID conspiracies. So, number 8 on my list. It's kind of a tie, but it's also not. I just have an honorable mention in this spot, which is Girls Not Grey by AFI. But ultimately, my pick for this slot is Emma by Alkaline Trio.
Okay, I knew you'd have a little bit of these bands showing up. I
texted our friend Pat to just like remember the name of the drummer on this album. His name is Derek. I forget his last name, but incredible drummer in Alkaline Trio. For like this album and maybe the next one, they've gone through quite a few drummers. But this guy, I mean, is a true wizard with the ride cymbal. I sometimes I can't believe it. When I listen to these drum tracks, I'm like, wow. But the other thing I love about Emma is that the band Alkaline Trio has two prominent voices. Their bass player and their guitarist both sing. They sort of trade off as lead singers. And they both have very specific, I think very charming voices. And this song very prominently features them together. And it does this thing where the bass player, I can't remember his name, but the bass player sings lead for most of the song. But in the chorus, he really sings harmony, and Matt Skiba sings the melody of the chorus. And I just loved that trick. I love that. Another thing that it does is one of my favorite things songs do is it has a great chorus, and when the chorus comes back the second time, it extends. Like there's a second part of the chorus, and you're like, oh my God, like hidden part of the chorus.
That's always really fun. I really like when that happens.
I like the expanded chorus move. So yeah, really, if you've never heard Alkaline Trio before, this is kind of a great song to start with, because it's very self-consciously, almost comedically gothic, but it's also really beautiful and really propulsive. So yeah, the goth rock of bands like AFI, primarily, I was always an Alkaline Trio guy. They were always my number one dudes. But I also had great admiration for AFI, and I listened to that album, Sing the Sorrow, a lot. It was that, I talk about this all the time, but it was like the use of like minor chords in pop punk was always really confusing and bewildering to me. And AFI was obviously great at that.
Yeah, that was kind of their bit. I don't have much to say about AFI because they were kind of one of your bands. I was not like huge into AFI. Okay, 7?
Number 7.
Reptilia, The Strokes.
Yeah, this is a great song.
See, this is the first one that I was like, this might show up on your list higher than number 7. But the Strokes followed up, This Is It, with their sophomore album, Room on Fire, which is an amazing album. This song represents everything that's awesome about the Strokes. I believe it's the opening track, but I guess I'd have to check that. And I don't know, Room on Fire is just great album. And what I love about it is like in the middle of the song, you got a great Albert Hammond Jr. Like little breakdown, and then the bass drum kicks in and they launch back into it. It's a wonderful, wonderful song, and it's everything good about the Strokes. Like you could very easily, if someone had never heard the Strokes, this would be a great song to show them. Yeah,
it's funny because I think that for a lot of people in the kind of who are much closer to the Strokes, like sort of circle in New York at the time, Is This It and Room on Fire are kind of a piece, because I think they were both taken from songs the band was playing all the time. Like, I think that a lot of the songs from Room on Fire had been around in those Strokes live shows for like a long time.
Sure.
And so they kind of think of them as the same. What's really funny to me is I got into the Strokes. I saw I think there were a few different music videos for Last Night on MTV. And I was like, What is this? Is this new? Is this from the 70s? What am I listening to?
Yeah.
Got really excited about it. The sound was so unique to me. And when I heard Room on Fire, it sounded more like updated and modern to me at the time. And I remember being like, this is weird. I like this, but it's not exactly what I think of as the Strokes. I think of the Strokes as kind of having this like old school, old timey sheen to their recordings. But this is one of those things where when I listen to it now, I don't really hear that separation.
I agree.
And I hear songs like New York City Cops is a famous Strokes song that was removed from Is This It because of 9/11. But because the chorus of the song is New York City Cops, they're not too smart. And so somebody decided it was a bad idea to have that on there. But if you listen to that song, it sounds like a Room on Fire song. Like bass is very strong and prominent. And so trying to sort of conjure that in my head, right? Trying to reconcile all that stuff, trying to imagine that New York City Cops was a Is This It song was really hard for me as a teenager. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But as an adult now, I'm like, I don't really know what the difference was.
Fun story about that song is when I went to the Bernie rally at UNH, the Strokes performed, and they towards the end of it, it got wild. This performance got insane. Like kids were like lifting gates up and like getting on stage and they ended up turning the lights on, and the police like came and started to try and shut stuff down, and the Strokes ended with New York City Cops while they were like all on stage. Like the cops were like on stage, like pulling kids off of them and stuff. It was awesome.
Wow.
It was a very strange political rally.
My number 7 is a song called The Sound of Settling by Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh, man. That is a banger.
So, obviously this year, Death Cab has had their 20th anniversary of the album Transatlanticism. Very special album to a lot of people. I really love most of it. There are certain songs that I am not wild about. I have never been wild about. But for the most part, big fan of that album. I'm less of a Postal Service guy, but pretty wild that those came out in the same year. It's very Connor Oberstian, right? Like putting out Read Music, Speak Spanish, and Lifted the same year.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as different. But yeah, The Sound of Settling is just I think it shows some of what Death Cab does best, right? There's a lot of great interplay in like the rhythm section. The guitar part is really hooky and catchy, and it's kind of like picky, strummy, Yep. And so there's that interlocking rhythm of like the guitar part, the drums, the bass, and it all holds together really well. It all holds together and is really it's really bouncy and really fun. It's got a bop ba in the chorus, which it's hard to pull off a bop ba, but these guys do.
Yes. So this is the first disappointment to me that I did not include anything of. I did not realize that the Postal Service album came out in 2003, even though, of course, they're doing the 20-year tour right now. So I would have liked to include a Postal Service track, but whatever. And if I was going to include a Death Cab track, it would definitely be this song. This is the song. And I am not a huge Ben Gibbard dude. I think he's got an amazing voice, and I think he writes very catchy songs. I do not think he's the best lyricist, and I also think that some of his songs are really boring. But what I will say about Death Cab for Cutie is they are super talented, and every time I talk about them, I talk about one thing, which is the drummer and whoever is recording the drums are absolutely incredible because they are the clearest. They sound perfect. They are perfectly recorded drums.
Well, so I know that the producer for Death Cab, at least most of the time, is Chris Walla, who's also in the band.
Yes,
he's
yes,
the
that's
guy
right.
who does the production. So shout out to Chris Walla and his miking of whoever plays drums for
If
Death
you
Cab.
know one thing, my dude, it is how to record drums.
Jason McGurr, drummer for Death Cab. Great work,
Good for
buddy.
you, buddy. Good for you.
Doing a lot of shouting out drummers today. We had Derek from Alkaline
That's true.
Trio.
That's true. There's actually I've got some more stuff about drummers too.
We
Okay.
did that. We talked about Dashboard. We didn't mention Mike Marsh, Chris Caraba's drummer, who was early in life my first kind of drumming hero. That guy. It's a little hard to watch the Dashboard Confessional Unplugged performance because there's so much singing along, and I'm not a fan of singing along. But the
No, me either.
the drums in that concert are wild.
Sing along on the chorus, okay? But I don't need you singing every word.
Yeah, no,
if you
I
want
agree.
to sing
That's
along on the chorus, go ahead.
house rules.
But-
yeah.
Yeah, but shut up.
When I see videos from like Taylor Swift concerts, I'm like, why would you want to go? Like,
Yeah,
why would you want to
agree.
pay $600 to hear, a bunch of people around you singing the songs off key? Like,
Well, and I think
it sounds like a miserable experience.
I think that that's why they go so hard with the visuals. So it's not just, you're not just listening to a performance. Now it's a whole other thing. I had the same thought when I was trying to watch a performance of Harry Styles' tour. And I was like, I can't even, because it's literally just the audience singing. I can't even hear them, and now you're paying hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to do this.
I know.
What a waste of time.
I know. I tell you what, the only thing I saw where I was like, man, the ticket prices I'm sure are a lot, but it almost seems like it would be worth it, is, have you seen videos of U2 playing at the Sphere?
Yes, I have, and it looks like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it looks so sick. I mean, it is Achtung Baby that they're playing, which is not like an album I'm the most familiar with. If they were doing like the Joshua Tree, I'd be looking up flights.
See, I would not, but it's the Sphere. It has nothing to do with U2 for me. It has to do with the fact that the Sphere is like the most groundbreaking thing I've ever seen in my life. Even on the outside of it, it's insane.
Yeah. I see a lot of trash talk about the Sphere on my social feeds, and I'm like, you guys have this all wrong, man. It's cool. Like, it is cool. I agree. And if you're, if there are legitimate claims about basically anything, I don't know. Did they make kids build it? What's wrong? People talk about it like
fine.
it's some kind of waste, like it's like indicative of like the, fiddling while the empire burns. But it's like, or that it's like a waste of electricity or something. I'm like, that's all LED. You know what I mean? Like the electricity that it used to power that is probably less than what it takes to power my house.
And also, guess what? You know what? If we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out enjoying it. All right. What's the point of being this country if you don't get to pretend like everything is fine?
All right, let's talk about your number 6 pick.
It's 6, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
This one I think you're gonna not like that I put it at 6, but Some Red-Handed Sleight of Hand. Nice.
Oh, this is such a great song and a great album. Truly, probably the best album of 2003. I
would find it hard to argue against that.
Yeah. So this is Cursive.
This is the band Cursive. This is the Ugly Organ, and you could basically pick any track from this. I chose Some Red-Handed Sleight of Hand because I believe that it's my personal favorite. You also get double points for pulling in. This is the song that he says Cursive is so cool in it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, like you get double points for shouting out your own band in the middle of a song.
It's also it's technically not the opening track. There's an intro track, but it's also just a great opening song. The opening lines are, and now we proudly present songs per verse and songs of lament.
Yeah, nothing like it, man. This album is absolutely incredible front to back. And I mean, what more can you say about Cursive other than they are an amazing, amazing band?
This song makes incredibly prominent use of the rock cello,
yes.
which was a foreign concept to me before this album came out. And, when you hear it the first time as a teenager, it's one of those things that you can't quite make heads or sonic tails of. But yeah, I mean, it sounds amazing. And Tim Kasher's voice, we'll talk more about it later too, but Tim Kasher's voice is a really special thing. A long time ago, I used to ask people all the time, like, all right, if you could create your own super band, who would you pick? Who would you put in each place? And I used to always say that my band would have 2 lead singers. It would be Annie Clark and Tim Kasher. Their voices are both, I think, very special. And Tim Kasher has such range in his voice. And one of the most impressive things I've ever seen was when I saw Cursive live. He can do both in a live setting. He can do the quiet, softer, sweeter, the louder, abrasive scream. I mean, there's 5 or 6 different loud, abrasive screams in his toolbox. And he can do it, and he can change back and forth, rapidly between them. And it's one of the true pleasures of the music world is the singing voice of Tim Kasher. I
had a very early on when The National first came on the scene, I was like, I immediately wrote them off because I was like, yeah, there's already a band that does this, and it's called Cursive and The Good Life. You know, it's like this is Tim Casher's shtick, basically. And so like for like years, I didn't listen to the National because I was like, yeah, I'm a Cursive guy, like, which is now seems crazy. They're nothing like each other, but like at the time, I was like, you're just doing his bit.
Okay, hey, this is Zach, and I am just cutting in here basically to change my next pick, which I'm allowed to do. It's my show. So, okay, here's what happened. I got two in my head about what it meant to create a 2003 mixtape, and so I was thinking about the band Brand New, a band that I listened to a lot in 2003, and for many years after that until there were some revelations about Brand New's frontman Jesse Lacey and his relationship with underage fans. I did, in fact, stop listening to Brand New after that, but I always think that my relationship to canceled artists is maybe a little less strident than the mainstream discourse, and I always try to articulate that perspective on this show, and then I always edit it out because I never get it right. I'm never going to get it right. Never going to get it, never going to get it right, never going to get it. That's from a Brand New song I don't listen to anymore. So I'm going to cut out the 10 minutes that Morgan and I spent trying to parse this issue because it's easier than trying to edit myself into having a coherent point. Plus, you know, at the time, I felt like the 2003 mixtape had to be representative of what I was listening to back then. But here's the thing. I realized that Morgan and I are making this mixtape for you to listen to, you know, now, not in 2003. And so that will be my governing principle in selecting songs going forward. And so I am changing my selection from a Brand New song called Okay, I Believe You by Tommy Gunn Don't to a song called Wayside / Back in Time by Jillian Welsh. Jillian Welsh is one of our greatest living songwriters, and her 2003 album Soul Journey is like wall-to-wall bangers. This song is sort of a stand-in for a bunch of the songs on that record, including Miss Ohio and Wrecking Ball, but really, any of them will do. It's a great record.
My number 5 is one of my favorite tracks on this list, and it is Bigger Than My Body by John Mayer.
Oh. Okay.
So, do you know that song right off the top of your head or no?
I do,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is John Mayer announcing to the world, I wrote Your Body is a Wonderland, so I never had to work again. And you bought Room for Squares, and now here's the album that I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to sound like. And what I really love about so Heavier Things is a great album front to back. He isn't fully formed yet. He's still kind of figuring out what his sound is going to be, but already you have incredible guitar work. You have great songwriting, and like we're going to these are masterfully written songs already. And you already see it. You see it on Room for Squares. Room for Squares is an album that people knock because they think that Your Body is a Wonderland is like a dumb song. And it's like, okay, but there's also amazing things on that album. But anyway, back to Heavier Things. Heavier Things is like an announcement to the world that this is what I'm going to sound like. And Bigger Than My Body, first of all, he flies into that falsetto so strongly in the chorus. It's like, someday I'll fly, someday I'll soar. And it's like incredible. And I don't know. I just love the premise of like, someday I'll fly, someday I'll soar, like someday I'll whatever, someday much more, because I'm bigger than my body gives me credit for. That's awesome. Awesome job, dude. Way to write a song. And that's basically all I have to say about it. I love John Mayer. He's my guitar god. And come at me. Come at me, Twitter. You got something to say?
Yeah, I'm not really like a John Mayer guy, but I respect it.
What I really love about John Mayer is John Mayer's songs basically became about like yeah, I'm rich and I am not happy.
We stand a relatable unhappy king.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right, my number 5. I've noticed, by the way, no overlap so far. No overlap.
I know. I'm
And-
kind of shocked. I think we'll get there.
I was gonna say, I think we're probably getting there. My number 5 is a song called "Keep Me in Your Heart" by Warren Zevon.
How did that come out in 2003?
I don't know. That was when it was released. Came out in 2003, and I think he.
Oh my God, that's.
I think he died like a couple years later, right? The Wind. Warren Zevon.
Well, that was. Okay, first of all.
Yeah,
Keep Me
August
in-
26, 2003, and then Warren Zevon died when.
Wow.
Warren Zevon died in September of 2003. He died the month after it
Yes,
came out,
I was
like
gonna
2 weeks
say,
later.
that was. Yeah. So, have you ever watched any of the Letterman stuff with him?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so crazy that he's like that. They literally have an interview where he's like, "So you're gonna die, huh?" Like,
Yeah.
And also, have you heard the story about him giving him the guitar?
Yes, he gave Letterman his guitar on the last performance.
Yes.
Yeah,
He said,
pretty
"Take
cool.
care of this for me."
Yeah, very sweet.
That's amazing, amazing, amazing man. "Keep Me in Your Heart" is one of the greatest songs ever written. I have an ongoing playlist that I keep in Spotify that is called "Play at My Funeral," and that is one of those songs.
Yep, it's a perfect. I mean, it's very specifically that, right? It is
Right.
kind of
Which,
his.
by the way,
his
"Play at My
last
Funeral" is
wishes.
not- "Play at My Funeral"
ahead.
is not a sad playlist. Sorry, I just
Right.
wanted to say that it's not a sad playlist. That's a sad song, but
I wouldn't even say that it's a sad song. I think it's really beautiful. It's like
yeah, I agree.
it's kind of a list of things that he would like his loved ones to do kind of in his honor after he dies. And I love when like I'm a sucker for snare drum. So when the drums come in on that, like when you wake up in the morning and you see that crazy sun keep me in your heart for a while, I love that. I just love that part of the song. I love when it picks up like that. But yeah, just a beautiful song, a beautiful sentiment on this album that he really recorded and conceived of as his goodbye. Very few
Yes.
artists get to do that.
They do.
He's one. David Bowie is another. They knew it was coming, and they made one final statement, and they passed away almost immediately after.
Yeah.
which is pretty wild. So
Yeah, Warren Zevon is like one of my all-time favorite artists. I think he's so cool. Do you remember him showing up on the Larry Sanders Show?
no, I don't.
You should look that up. That's a great clip.
Should.
So, all right. So, shout out to Gary Shandling. Shout out to Warren Zevon. Shout out to David Letterman. Okay, what number was that? That was 5. Do
That
you
was
want to say
5.
anything more?
No. Great,
Okay.
great song.
All right. Number 4, one of my all-time favorite songs ever. "Jenny, You're Barely Alive" by Rilo Kiley.
I knew there was. I thought it might be this song when you pointed out that the Saddle Creek 50th release compilation was a 2003 album. I was like, oh, this is a wonderful loophole to get. But this song is a great choice because it was not on a 2002 album.
Right. There were a couple, and this song is standout to me for being I don't know. I mean, I think that I might have like a personal opinion about the idea that like this song is amazing and it's not on an album.
Right.
That's incredible.
It feels really encapsulating of what that period of Rilo Kiley was really all about. Basically the more adventurous Rilo Kiley. It feels like all of it summed up in one song.
Right. I agree. And it's just heavy as hell. And it's just all around an amazing track. It's I love her distorted vocals. I love I love when someone is like singing about themselves. and like this might be all fictionalized, but saying Jenny, you're barely alive is like really cool. I like when artists reference themselves. Jenny Lewis in Rilo Kiley they are like our Fleetwood Mac. They are an amazing band together. And then I have not loved a single thing she's done. Actually, that's not true. I really enjoyed the Rabbit Fur Coat album when that came out right after she was done with Rilo Kiley. But like just this form of these musicians together are amazing.
I agree.
Blake Sennett's one of my all-time favorite lead guitarists. If you had to ask me about my favorite drummers of all time, Jason Bozell would be on that list.
Definitely, because he's another person who kind of showed me like almost another approach to playing the drums, which is like a little laid back but still on it. Now I don't actually know if Jason Bozell played on this song, because I'm not sure when exactly he joined up with Rilo Kiley.
Sure, that's anyway. A good point. I don't know that either.
Shout out to 6'8" Time, by the way. A rare. This was almost, I felt like a more popular Time signature in the early 2000s. There was If You See Jordan, the Something Corporate hit.
Yeah.
And Jenny, You're Barely Alive. You don't see it as much. All right, well, my number 4 song is by another artist who is both self-aggrandizing and self-lacerating enough to be able to refer to himself in the third person, and he often does. Not sure if he does in this song or not, but it's called 99 Problems, and it's by Jay-Z.
Wow. 99 Problems came out this year?
Yeah, the Black Album came out this year, produced by Rick Rubin. I didn't know this, but apparently the Beastie Boys were also involved a lot in the production of this album.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool when you think about the sound of this song, which, Jay-Z was famously a little skeptical about. He says, "You're crazy for this one, Rick," because of the guitars and the drums and everything that really, this song is very forceful.
Yeah. I remember seeing a clip of the Beastie Boys in the studio, and they are literally like just getting there, and they look at Rick Rubin and they go, "He doesn't write anything down." And he was like,
right.
No. And it was just like such a great scene to see.
Yeah, that is cool. That is a crazy thing about Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time.
I think that might be true. I think that there's something about, how about this? I think Jay-Z is one of the world's greatest collaborators.
I think that's actually a great point, because what I was going to follow up with that is that Jay-Z has also surrounded himself by amazing talent his whole career.
And there's actually 2 different points within this song alone, right? One is him being hesitant about this beat, which is just phenomenal. Then the other is, later, Mark Romanek directs a music video for this song, 99 Problems.
Yes.
And it is controversial. It features scenes in like prison with naked men. At the end of the music video, Jay-Z gets like shot and killed.
Yeah.
It's black and white. It's very stark. It's very dramatic. And Jay-Z had real misgivings about it. If I remember correctly, I don't think he wanted to get shot.
Yeah, Jay-Z's a person who has known and lost. You know what I mean? I would take that. And like white man Mark Romanek's telling him he's got to get shot.
Right, but he had some. But whatever it was, it may have been that. It may have been like the prison stuff. He had some objections to it. However, once Jay-Z saw the finished music video, he became its strongest defender. And MTV said, "We will only air this if you censor it," and Jay-Z said no.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool, like, artist standing up for this thing that he didn't even stand behind at first.
Yes.
He was willing to completely defend as a complete artistic statement and say, no, I will not censor it for MTV. And I believe MTV eventually relented and did show the music video just like after hours,
Oh, sure.
There were certain times a day where technically you were allowed to, show and have things that were not whatever. I remember this starting to happen when we were teenagers, is like sometimes you would turn on Comedy Central really late at night, and South Park would be like uncensored, you know?
Yeah, they did do that a lot. Yeah, and I'm
and
sure
it
they
was
still
like-
do.
Oh, I mean, at this point, I think it doesn't matter at all. It's really funny because we've been rewatching the Mindy Project, and it's really funny to notice when the Mindy Project shifts from being
From
a
being
Fox
on
show
TV
to
to
a
streaming.
Hulu show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because suddenly there's so much more that they can do and say.
Yeah.
And they just do it right away.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, so your number 4 pick slides perfectly to continue our conversation on my number 3 pick, because it's already been mentioned in this episode. It's Crazy in Love by Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Nice. Yeah.
One of the biggest hits of all time, of the modern era. Crazy in Love is the reason I put it at my number 3 is because not only is it an amazing song, and we kind of get the first taste of what Beyonce is going to become. Because she had a couple of solo hits, but like,
that's true.
But this was like a gigantic hit. And
right. This was like a world-destroying hit, and it really, Beyonce never came down from the height that it got her to.
Right. And what's really also important is that it launched a very prominent new movement of rap artists appearing in pop songs that had already been taking place earlier than this. You know, I'm thinking of like basically every hit that Ja Rule had. And everything like that. But there's something about this that's different. And it's maybe it's because I look at these two as people who have been able to do it the rest of their careers. Jay-Z shows up in plenty of pop songs. Beyonce, has used plenty of different rappers.
Yeah. No, this song is what finally broke down the division between rap and pop.
Right.
It was no longer really made any sense that we were considering rap to be separate from pop, and that there were like radio stations that played pop music and radio stations that played rap music, because the pop music stations are running out of stuff.
Once we saw like the rise of like Lady Gaga in about 2010, 2011, like right around there, that's when pop became good again.
All right, so my number 3 is a song from an album that's already come up. It's a little song called There There by Radiohead.
Oh, very nice. Wow, I can't believe Radiohead reached your top 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, this song is just inarguable to me. The drums, it's got that jungly kind of drums that I absolutely love. Eventually kind of, it does explode, but in this kind of like almost sensual way. Like, to me, this is the song that caused the Broccoli family to reach out to Radiohead about doing a song for James Bond, which ended up not happening. But this is the one that goes like, oh yeah, these guys can do this. They can soundtrack the spy shit. This song...
Did they release a track that was supposed to be the James Bond song?
Yeah, they released their song from Spectre. I think it might be called Spectre.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like I've heard it, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah. So they were, but anyway, this song, to me, I don't know this to be true, but to me, this is the song that planted the seed.
Yeah.
But there's just something that's so cool about like the guitars and the drums in this song, and the way that it blows up. You know, it has like this great, like, again, it's like very jungly, but then the drums go like, da-da-da-da-da, you know, great lyrics too. There's always a siren singing you to shipwreck. That's like one of the best Radiohead lines of all time.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice line.
And it just gets dropped very casually into this song. So yeah, I loved this song from like I remember hearing a piece of it, maybe in like a commercial for the album, and being like, whatever that is, sign me up.
Yeah. I wonder if we were aware of Radiohead already.
I was very aware of Radiohead because of the music video for Karma Police.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yes.
You go back to the old VHS videos, I would always get people to like parody that. You know, I would always get someone to like run in front of a car.
Yes.
And we could film the car going slowly behind them with the headlights on them.
All right, man. We're getting down to it.
Get down to it.
All right. Number 2, one of my, I keep saying like one of my all-time favorite songs. Is like, if I did an actual favorite songs list, this would be like 250. No, but for real, band called Belle and Sebastian, and the song is Step Into My Office, Baby.
Yeah, this is a fun song.
Okay, so
Great album name, by the way, Dear Catastrophe Waitress.
oh yeah, and it's everything that I love about Belle and Sebastian. It's got these really funny, funky horns. It's a very kind of like slow, subdued song for a lot of it, but then it kind of jams, it gets into a real groove. And especially the live version that they did on one of their live albums that came out recently is awesome. It's so good. But yeah, Belle and Sebastian, Step Into My Office, Baby. If you guys don't know that song, put it on right now.
There are so many Belle and Sebastian songs kind of littered throughout history that are great. And it's so funny because they have one of those, they have like a remarkably consistent output. You know, there's a Belle and Sebastian album every 2 or 3 years, and there has been for like 25 years.
Yes. And I mean, there's amazing things on most of them. Fun fact about Belle and Sebastian, they were offered to do the music for the movie Shrek, and they turned it down. And his wife like often reminds him, like anytime he's talking about like money issues or anything like that, she's like, yeah, well, you could have taken Shrek.
Really weird that the producers of Shrek started with Belle and Sebastian. When they said no, went, okay, Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I know. It's very strange.
Was that the full list? Was it choice 1, Belle and Sebastian, choice 2, Smash Mouth? Or is there a long progression of artists that brings you in a more smooth manner from Belle and Sebastian all the way to Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
All right, well, my number 2 song from an album that's already come up today. This song is A Gentleman Caller by the band Cursive.
Very nice.
So this was my choice because, I don't know, it's the one that I think has endured from the Ugly Organ for me somehow the most.
Huh.
And I think it's because it shows off all the things that Cursive can do. You know, it starts out and it's as abrasive as you can possibly get. You know, it's the harshest sonically that the album ever is. But halfway through the song, it turns and it becomes this gorgeous, you know, kind of sing-songy lullaby.
Yes.
That is still anchored by this driving cello. But Tim Kasher's voice and demeanor completely changes. And critically, it doesn't change back.
Yes.
This is not like, it's not a bridge.
Right.
And then like a big chorus comes back in really loud.
Right.
The mood of the song fundamentally and forever changes. And that was wild to me as a kid.
I agree. And I think I would listen to that song more if it wasn't so heavy at the beginning, because it's a lot.
I listen to it a lot. And it is a lot. Sometimes if you're listening to it too loud, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah. Yes.
But
that's
but in kind of a good way.
I've found that my ADHD brain has to be in a very specific kind of mood for that much sound. And I find it overwhelming very easily. Now, one thing that you and I always not argue, but talk about, which is that you find that like early Childish Gambino is like very heavy rap. But I don't find that as overwhelming as I find instruments overwhelming. So that's what I think strikes me as far as A Gentleman Caller is concerned.
I don't like the intensity of voices when it sounds like someone is kind of yelling, and which is very funny because I'm talking about Cursive, right?
Yeah.
But kind of the way like hardcore scream singing is very different because it's like manifestly not aggressive, you know? It's like a person making a loud, harsh noise who is clearly not an aggressive person.
Right. That's very true.
And I think that's why the people who respond to like hardcore music are mostly very sweet people.
Okay. My number 1 is a song that became a different song, but this is the first time that it is published. And it is from the 30 for 30, not 30 for 30, Saddle Creek 50. The song is Bright Eyes, and the song is One Foot in Front of the Other.
Yeah, I mean, I think this song, which later came to be known as Landlocked Blues, and has been released now in 4 different versions, right?
Yeah.
You can hear 4 different versions of this song.
Yes.
I think it's probably Conor Oberst's greatest song.
And yeah, this is the first version of it. This is the first time we heard it. Well, actually, no, we might have seen him live play it before that.
I think we did.
Yeah.
But because the thing is, the lyrics to this song are all like so evocative. I talked about that Cat Power song, about being able to kind of picture the story. And there are all these little stories in this song, all these little like vignettes of his like life and experience.
Yeah.
And, and you can picture so much of it. There's just a lot of beautiful stuff. Even just like the sidewalk holds diamonds like a jewelry store case. That's like, you know what that is. When you're walking down the street and you see all the shiny shit in the road, but it's like such a beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think of it all the time when I'm just like walking down the road and looking at the street. I love when it shifts. I love that it's Dylan-y, in this kind of like verse after verse after verse. They're all constructed the same way. They all end the same way. But then we get this, I found a liquid cure for my landlocked blues, and all the like bells and things come in. And that's true both in this version and in later versions, where like it gets really bright eyesy in those moments. It's like he uses all of his powers in this kind of folk song structure.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's just a perfect song, and this is the first version of it. And, I'll reserve now that when we talk our 2005 things, I won't put Landlocked Blues on my list because I've already used it.
It'll be on mine, though. One thing that I find interesting about Conor Oberst's songwriting that I've heard him say is that he writes lots and lots of verses, and then he often picks a few that he thinks are the best ones. And so he says sometimes he feels like the sort of narrative that he had intended in his song sort of goes missing because, you're hearing verse 1, verse 5, and verse 9. And the other ones have all they're all on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But this song has so many, it really feels like he just kind of kept everything in. And those are some of my absolute favorite Bright Eyes songs. It's this one and Let's Not Shit Ourselves, which are both verse after verse after verse.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like getting that unvarnished everything from your favorite artist is like, it's a really powerful thing. So yeah, wonderful song.
Wonderful song. All right, Zachary, you're number 1, sir.
My number 1 song, I'll tell you what, this is the one that I was the most solid on from the beginning. I was like, this is it. This is the one. The rest of it, I mean, my top 4 was pretty solid, but the rest was moving around a lot, and this one was always number 1. My number 1 song of 2003 is Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This song is, when you put this song on, even now, right?
Yep.
And those drums first start up.
Yep.
It's like, you're like, holy shit.
Yes.
And I honestly think the song has gotten better in the years since it came out, because it was like, we didn't know how good we had it when this song came out.
Yes. This song is on the Untouchables list.
Yeah.
Nick Zinner playing guitar. That guy's a goddamn guitar god.
And even just the kind of high-pitched note that plays throughout the entire song, there's something so like iconic about it.
Yes.
You could recognize this song from one note.
Yes, you could. Yeah, that's an incredible feat.
Yeah, and I mean, this song is also so iconic that it was pretty brazenly ripped off by Kelly Clarkson. The song Since You've Been Gone steals that exact like to the point where the AAS tell a story about hearing it in the mall and being like, what the fuck?
That's funny.
Yeah. But even still, right? Like what's amazing is that crazy guitar part is like 5th on the list of great things about this song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Karen
true.
O's voice, something so perfect and beautiful about wait, they don't love you like I love you.
Yes.
It's like the simplest lyric and it's gorgeous, you know, both as performed and just as written, you know, like it's just a beautiful phrase. I'm sure I brought this up on the podcast before, but that line is so iconic that when Ezra Koenig from Vampire Weekend tweeted the phrase, "Hold up, they don't love you like I love you," it's clear even just reading it that was a reference to the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And then when that line became a lyric in a Beyonce song, both Ezra Koenig and Karen O got songwriting credit on this Beyonce song, Hold Up.
That's wild. I did not realize that Karen O got credit for that. That's great.
Yes.
This song, I want to say, I loved the song when it came out, but I couldn't watch the video. And the reason was because Karen O scared me. I was 12 years old in 2003. Okay.
Yeah. I remember this song, obviously, when it came out, but I was much more taken with some of the heavier, rockier songs on Fever to Tell. Like, I mean, Why Control is an amazing song. I was a huge fan of that song.
Yes,
as well.
Me too.
Over time, you know, I don't know, my taste has softened and expanded, and I just kept going. I go back to Maps all the time.
Yes.
And every time I hear that song, I almost can't believe it.
I listen to Maps and Y Control like a good amount. Like they are on all of my early 2000s like indie rock playlists. It's like a lot of like the genre of playlists that I make that they show up on. It's like TV on the radio, stuff like that. Yeah, I absolutely adore the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. They are an incredible band, and this song really launched their career, and and deservingly so. It's an incredible song. How did we not have any overlap?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. 20 songs, no overlap, 2 recurring albums, Hails of the Thief and
Did you have any like honorable mention? I guess you threw in the one when you were doing AFI, but did you have any honorable mentions that did not get the list?
I kicked the Shins off this list
me too.
recently.
Me too.
I had Young Pilgrims.
I can't remember which track I had on the Shins because that was on my note that did not get, that got 86 somehow. I wanted to reference 2 songs that are on Saddle Creek 50 that are not anywhere else. Or if they are, they're on an album after this. This is their first release. Wonderful Scar by Now It's Overhead.
Yep.
And Sick and Sore by Sorry About Dresden.
Yes. Sorry About Dresden. This album did come out this year, but Sick and Sore. Yeah, no, that came out this year.
Yeah.
Let Her Rest. Came out in 2003.
Right. Those are 2 tracks that are great songs. I just didn't have room.
A couple of songs that I did not put on here because they're more songs I like now is like, so the Nick Cave album Nocturama came out in 2003. I really love that album. One of my favorite Nick Cave songs is called Rock of Gibraltar. Another one that I was just like, this is iconic, but it wasn't really the album for me, is Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to include the White Stripes, but I
like Elephant a lot as an album, but like there's not one song that I love, and I was never huge about Seven Nation Army.
Yeah, I wasn't either. Well, maybe it was because we were such big White Stripes fans at the time that the fact that everyone caught on to that song, it was like, yeah, but this isn't even like really good, you know, like compared to
I was like,
other
listen
songs.
to Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, man.
And then,
if you want to get wild,
me.
I agree, and it's funny because that's one of those songs that has survived for a lot longer, you know. Seven Nation Army still always showing up on commercials and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. When I hear it again, it's not like when I listen to Maps and I'm like, oh my God, listen to this song. When I hear Seven Nation Army, it sounds very dated to me, and it sounds very I don't know. Very 2003.
What's very interesting about the White Stripes, not to go on a whole thing, but White Blood Cells, obviously front to back, great album, right? Elephants in the middle, and like I don't love it, and then Get Behind Me, Satan follows that, which is also front to back great. It's like
I would agree, yeah.
Funny little fallout with Elephant, where I'm really not into it as much as those other two albums.
I also like White Blood Cells and Get Behind Me, Satan a lot more than Elephant. Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
That's what's really strange is that I listened through all of Elephant in preparation for this episode.
Yeah.
Kind of being like, I don't know, is the hardest button to button good enough to make the list? And I was thinking, well, I'm probably mostly remembering the Michel Gondry video and having fond feelings for that.
I was gonna say I remember that being like that song makes me think of you.
Yeah. Yes. And that was another one. That's another one in my personal sort of artistic museum, where that music video and what it was doing visually unlocked a lot of new ideas in my head.
Yeah.
And so that was always cool. But when I was thinking about songs on Elephant beyond Seven Nation Army, every song I was thinking of was actually on Get Behind Me, Satan.
Yeah, I know,
and
right?
So I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, the White Stripes were obviously like a big deal, but they're one of those bands where, like, because we're kind of starting this project with 2003, we're probably like some of the other, like, we're probably never going to get back to the White Stripes in a real meaningful way because White Blood Cells predates it. So like, that's just, that's just life in the fast lane.
I'm going to call it right now. And I'm going to say that the 2005 list is going to be very full. But
yeah, that's going to be an intense one. I
agree. And we need to make like a 15 track song for that. But that's too much. We'll do 10. But I have a very, very strong love for the song The Denial Twist.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So like
that's
and also My Doorbell. Like those are two of like my those are favorite songs of mine. So it's very possible that will show up again and we will be able to talk White Stripes.
So funny, right? That Jack White, like, had kind of no bass in the band, right? So was almost kind of trapped sonically by that idea, but found his way out within the White Stripes by integrating piano and letting the piano be the low end.
Yeah.
And that's really what's responsible for both My Doorbell and The Denial Twist having such groove, basically. It's that low end piano. But anyway, we'll talk about it in 2025.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we did it. This is our 2003 mixtape. And we're going to reconvene soon for the 2013 mixtape.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So every year, we'll be able to do the 20-year and the 10-year.
20-year and 10-year.
Next year, we'll do the 04 and the 14. And then we'll do the 05 and the 15.
I like it.
Yeah.
What month is it? We're going to have to do that soon.
No, yeah, it's October now.
Yeah.
So we are going to have to do it soon.
Okay.
So start working on your 2013 list now.
I will start working on that list.
And we'll talk about it soon.
We got a couple departments, cost a bit like a department. Rubber a couple department. I give all of my sermons. Yeah, we still do things down to detail. Deeper and in detail. Both them bad as EL. They get quiet when you yell. Case I live my people. You locked in the big well. Meet me at the festive.